Everyone. Okay. So a couple of questions from our previous class, basically, that came through. Why was Hanuman beautiful? Why is he called Sundara? So I said Hanuman is beautiful. He was a beautiful monkey. That's the reason why his mom and dad named him Sundara. His mom is called Anjana, and his father is called Kesari, and he was named Sundara, and that's the reason why the Kandam is called Sundara Kandam, right? But why was he actually beautiful? There is a reason for that as well. For everything, there is a reason. Only thing is um, we just have to dig in to find out. So in Indraloka, basically you have all this Urvashi, Menaka, like beautiful damsels. In the same way, there was a lady, a beautiful dancer. Her name is Kunjikasthala, and she was a beautiful dancer. She was very, very pretty, and she was wonderful in dancing too. So both Indra and Vayu, both of them loved her very much. In fact, Vayu's love was very, very pure. So one day, basically, Kunjikasthala, she actually loves Vayu, the god of wind. And then when they are actually playing around, a divine romance kind of thing, she goes to a water body and she sprays some water on Vayu. And Vayu is actually the wind, right? So water doesn't hit him. It goes down and it goes and hits Durvasa Rishi. Durvasa Rishi actually is in meditation in a place, and his face gets filled with water droplets. And because water droplets come and hit his face, his meditation gets affected. So he thinks that it is like somebody playing with a rishi who is meditating, playing with him, obstructing. It is a job of a monkey kind of thing. So he says, who is this doing all these monkey games in a place where I am actually playing? I curse the person, whoever did this, to be born as a monkey on earth. So Kunjikasthala basically gets born as a monkey, and she is the one called as Anjana. So Anjana is born. She is a very beautiful monkey. Why? Because beauty comes in her thing, like in the Indralokam itself, she was a beautiful damsel. She was a beautiful dancer. So automatically, Anjana is very pretty. And Anjana marries, whenever you have pretty girls or pretty species, this happens in every species. So in the monkey kingdom, since Kunjika Anjana was very pretty, she married, we call him the king or the lion of the monkeys. So his name is Kesari. So out of all the monkeys, out of all the men in the monkeys group, Kesari was the most fiercest and strongest. So Kesari marries Anjana, and the child, as you know, basically for Kesari Nandana, Anjana Nandana, Anjaneya, was born to them. So that is the reason why when he was born, he was very beautiful. And that is the reason he is called Sundara, because the moment people saw him, everybody said he is he's so beautiful. So automatically Anjana decided he will be called Sundara. So Anjaneya is a name because he is a son of Anjana, but it is just a name from the mother's side. But actual name is obviously Sundara. Second thing, why was Hanuman with Sugriva? So last time I was telling you how God was very fair with Surya and Indra. So Sugriva is basically Surya's Amsham and Karna's Amsham. So in this Treta Yuga, in the Treta Yuga, Rama basically made sure he took side of Surya's Amsham, that is Sugriva, and killed Indra's Amsham. Who is that? That is Bali. That is what happened in the Treta Yuga. In the Dwapara Yuga, Mahavishnu did exactly the opposite because he needs to make sure that there is balance. So Surya's Samsham was Karna and Indra's Samsham was Arjuna. So he took Arjuna's side and then killed Surya's Amsham, who was Karna. So that way it was always fair with Narayana. But why did Hanuman join Sugriva? That is a question that everybody that was a question that you have asked. Very good question. So the reason is because when I told you the incident where Hanuman, that is Sundara, goes up when he is a little baby, he goes up thinking that the sun is basically a mango and a fruit and goes to pluck it, and how Indra comes and hits him with the Vajrayuda, and that's the reason why he has a fractured chin. Chin is called Hanu, and the person with fractured chin, that person is called Hanuman. So he gets the name Hanuman from there. So Sundara becomes Hanuman as well, right? So this story I was telling you before. So after this incident happens, all the people, all the devas and devatas, they bless him. And the final person to bless him is Surya. Surya. So Surya basically blesses him. Then basically Anjana says she wants Surya to be the guru of Hanuman and teach him all the sciences, the 64 types of sciences. So Surya actually, when he is moving, Hanuman is a very hyperactive child. So automatically he also moves along with Surya, and he basically learns all the 64 types of science, all the knowledge that is required. And Hanuman was very good in Vyakarna. Vyakarna is 9 types of grammar. Vyakarna means grammar. Sanskrit grammar is very difficult, and he was exceptional in grammar. So he learns that grammar perfectly as well. So I'll tell you later where he uses this grammar, because it's a very beautiful incident. So he was exceptional there. So he learns everything from Surya. After he learns from Surya, what happens is Hanuman goes and says to Surya Bhagwan, that I would like to give you something as Guru Dakshina. So Surya says, no, you don't need to give me anything. It's perfectly fine, because Surya's nature is to give. Sun's nature is always to give. He always gives. So my nature is giving, so it's no problem. You don't have to give me anything. But then Hanuman doesn't leave. He says, I want to give you something. And he keeps asking, what can I give you? What can I give you? Because he's an ideal student. He basically wants to give something, although the guru doesn't want anything. Then Surya actually says, okay, my Amsham is there on earth as Sugriva. Go and be with him and guide him. Because he knows Hanuman is much more wiser, because he has learned all these things. So upon Surya's insistence, then Hanuman actually goes and stays with Sugriva. So that is how Hanuman joins Sugriva. So that is the answer to that question. And when Sugriva is overthrown by Vali, he is accompanied only by 4 people: Nala, Nila, Jambavan, and Hanuman. So these are the 4 people who come out with Sugriva. None of the others stay. And if you see, I told you, Nila is basically an Amsham of Indra. He later on becomes the commander. I was telling you when I was talking about the Yuddha Kandam, his fights, the way in which Nila fights, right? He is one of the main commanders of the Vanara Sena. Angada is another commander, but Nila is a main commander, because obviously he is the Amsham of Indra. And Valmiki does a lot of shlokas where Indra is fighting. And I told you a sequence where Indra is not able to kill Trishira and Hanuman comes. Nala, who's Nala? Nala is Vishwakarma's Amsham. Vishwakarma is the architect, the greatest architect of the world, right? So if you see what happens in the Ram Setu construction, the 2 monkeys who help are Nala and Nila, right? So Vishwakarma basically is the obviously the architect. So when God is going to build Ram Setu, a bridge, who will be in the forefront? The Amsham of Vishwakarma. So Nala is in the front. So that is the reason why, see, if you see the planning, it's so beautiful. Because Sugriva, the people whom he wants are all with him. So Jambavan is the third one. Jambavan is the oldest and the most wisest of the monkeys. And in every instance, Jambavan is the one who helps all the people. With regards to even Hanuman, Hanuman would have forgotten that he has the power to jump across the ocean. Jambavan is the one who reminds him, basically in a beautiful shloka. Like that, Jambavan keeps giving a lot of beautiful advice, and he is there for that. Vishwakarma is in the form of Nala, who helps in the Ram Setu bridge. For building a bridge, what do you need? You want somebody who can design the bridge, the architect, right? So Nala was the one. But is that all that you need? No, you need a leader who can, we call him like, construction, like the head of the construction worker, right? Who can actually marshal the forces, who can actually make sure that all the people work in line with the design that's provided. And that is Nila. Because Nila is Indra, he has that leadership. So he will make sure that all the monkeys do the job. So these two guys only do the Ram Setu bridge. Correct? So last time, once I had actually told how long was this bridge every day, how many kilometers they built, and all those things, the details I had given you. Hope you have that with the part. So that's the answer to the two questions. One was why was he with Sugriva? Another was why was he called Sundara? Is that okay? So both have answers. Now, there are a couple of important points before we go into Hanuman Chalisa, and we'll try and finish the Hanuman Chalisa today. One point that is very important is I always, last time when I was speaking, we were talking about how Hanuman takes that Acharya role, like the Guru, in many different things. So I was telling you about this aspect where um, sorry, Jivatma in the name of Sita, she is in the Ashokavanam, she is confused, and the Acharya comes in the form of Hanuman, and how he comes and says that God is coming. So that particular part, right? So an Acharya becomes an Acharya. How did Hanuman become that Acharya? How did he assume that particular role of that particular Acharya? That's a very important point. And the point actually comes where we have to go in and actually delve into this beautiful scene where Hanuman meets Rama for the first time. And there's a very interesting scene. This is where you can also see the Vyakarna aspect of Hanuman, like his ability and his strength with grammar, because the dialogue that he says and all those things. But the most important thing that people don't um, s- see or understand is what Rama showed Hanuman. This is a very important aspect that I just wanted to touch base, if you don't mind, before we go in. So Rama and Lakshmana are coming in. Then Sugriva sees from the top, the place, the particular thing. Then Hanuman basically is sent so that Hanuman can come and find out who these two people are. Okay, are they enemies? Are they from the Wali gang group, or somebody else who have come to actually kill Sugriva in disguise? Or are they somebody who can be of help to Sugriva, right? So Sugriva sends Hanuman, and Hanuman actually changes himself. He disguises himself to be a Brahmin, and he comes down. Okay, but he says only two shlokas to Rama. And in those two shlokas, Rama is completely convinced. Okay. And in those shlokas, let's delve into that shlokas. I'm not going to read the shlokas out from the book, but I'm just going to delve in and tell you. The first thing that he says is he is a Vanara. So important point is you come as a disguise as a Brahmin, but straight away you're given by saying, I'm not a Brahmin. I'm not a man. I'm actually a Vanara. Why did Hanuman do it? So there is a beautiful thing that the poet actually, the Valmiki, the Kavi actually brings in here, which is so beautiful. When Hanuman starts walking and when he comes towards Rama, he says, Hanuman lost weight and gained weight. How can somebody lose weight and gain weight? You might actually think. He says, Hanuman lost his physical weight and he gained the weight in his heart because his heart got so filled up with love the moment he saw Rama. And the closer he started getting to Rama, he could only feel the love of in his heart. And this love was so heavy and it was becoming bigger and bigger and bigger that his body, basically, he felt as though there is nothing in his body. He felt that he was like a feather. His body weight has gone, and he was completely embraced, enveloped, absorbed. You know, there is a difference between absorbing and absorbing, right? Absorbing means it is like a sponge in water. If you put sponge inside the water is filled up. So that much love came out of Hanuman from nowhere, and he's feeling that particular love. So the sponge basically is light, but when you put that sponge in the water, it takes that water and it becomes a little heavy, heavier than how the sponge without the water is. So this guy feels, Hanuman feels there that he has become light body wise, but he is so much filled with love from inside that he has become heavy heart wise. So he comes and he understands that he's standing in front of Parabrahma Swarupa. How do we know that he understood that he is standing in front of Parabrahma Swarupa? That is where you go into his Vyakarna, his grammar, and the thing that he says. He says the shloka, I am a Vanara. So he gives up his disguise because he understands that this is God. I can't put up a show in front of a God, my God. It can't be a facade. So I'm just going to go with my pure heart and directly open up my heart to him. So he opens up and says, although you think this disguise is there, no, no, look straight through me because I know that you're God. So I'm a Vanara. First, he says that. And second, he says, I can see you, my Lord, with multiple hands. So it's very interesting. This language that he puts, the grammar that he puts, it says multiple hands. So actually, Vyakarna, if you go by the Vyakarna, by the grammar, the Rama had only two hands. A man can have only two hands. Okay. So he is saying multiple hands, more than two. Okay. He's not using the word two. He's using more than two. So why is he using that word more than two? Is because Rama is giving him the darshan, his true darshan, the darshan where he has Shankha Chakra and he is having the bow, Kodanda, and he is blessing him in his hand. So this Hanuman, when the first time he met Rama itself, Rama gave him the purest of the darshans, his divine form, the darshan of his divine form. That's the reason why he uses that shloka by saying, Valmiki uses the shloka where he says multiple hands. And the moment he says that, Lakshmana looks at Hanuman because nobody else knows. Nobody has seen, Rama has not shown this appearance. This appearance means Rama hasn't changed his form, but to the people, how they want to see God, whether God wants to reveal himself fully, to Hanuman, Rama revealed himself fully. And the moment Hanuman says that, and he says this beautiful thing, Rama turns to Lakshmana, and he says, he is the best speaker in this world. From the two shlokas, he says, he's the best, Hanuman is the best speaker in this world. Okay. Uh, we call it Bhashana Kaushalyam. Perfect. The art of speaking, you should learn from Hanuman. Who is saying? Rama is saying, you learn Bhashana Kaushalyam. From whom? From Hanuman. And it's interesting because Rama, before when he was talking to his three brothers, he used to say, there are 10 aspects to the art of speaking, how you talk. Okay, there shouldn't be repeated, words shouldn't get repeated, your grammar should be correct. There are 10 aspects that he actually lists out. So that person, not even listening to a full talk, he has only listened to two shlokas. Okay, just two lines, nothing else. But the moment he listens to that, he says, Bhashanaka, you have to learn the art of speaking from this man. To say that he's not a normal monkey. So Lakshmana understands, so he's not a normal monkey because a normal monkey can't talk Sanskrit with pure grammar, pure Vyakarnam in the way in which Hanuman is deliberating. It is not possible. It is another level. So that aspect is something that I want to touch base on. So why is this important? Because who can be a guru? If Hanuman is, if we keep telling that, oh, he's Actually, in Hanuman Chalisa also, there comes a place where he says, Jai 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 Hanuman Gosai. Gosai in that particular language means an acharya. Okay. And Kripa Karahu, Guru. Guru Deva Kinahi. So there, if you see that sthanam is given to him, but why is that being given to him? Why is he able to actually tell like that? Is because he has had the darshan, the sparshan, and sambhashan of Rama. So what is the difference? Everybody was having the darshan, sir. Even Sugriva had the darshan of Rama. Even Sugriva spoke to, touched Rama, and everything means no. The thing is, Hanuman's faith was so strong. He has seen the original Rupam, the Swarupam of Rama, with the four hands in the first part itself. And he knew for sure, absolutely sure, that Shraddha was there, that faith was there, that he has been in touch with Rama, and Rama can make anything happen for him. So only if the Guru is so confident and filled with that much Shraddha, that he can actually tell other people about it. If the person who's telling himself is not convinced in what he is talking about, if he doesn't have conviction himself on what he is talking about, then whatever he is going to say, other people are not going to listen to it. Am I making sense? Correct. So that aspect, that thing came very quickly to Hanuman. Whereas the same experience, so did Hanuman alone get this experience? Did nobody else get this experience? No. Sugriva got this experience too. When when Sugriva went and fought with Vali the first time, Rama doesn't fire the arrow. I've told you this before. Rama doesn't fire the arrow, and Vali just beats him like anything, and crushes him, tears him with his nails, and Sugriva's cut everywhere, and he comes. Sugriva comes and falls down, and he says to Rama, "Why didn't you fire the arrow?" And Rama says, "I couldn't differentiate between you both." And then Rama says, next day, he puts a garland and he says, "Now you go and fight. And I'll know with your garland that you are Sugriva, I'll kill the other person." That garland is basically the garland of grace, because both Sugriva and Vali were similar in nature. Okay, so he couldn't differentiate in nature what it was. Because first, initially, Vali took Sugriva's wife. Later on, if you think, Sugriva will be with Tara, Wali's wife, a little later. So all those things were there. So the nature is not different. But the key point there is, why is there no conviction? There is no conviction with Sugriva is because when he is hurt the first day, when all body and all is fully torn and cut by Vali, Rama places his hand on Sugriva and he touches the hand, touches Sugriva's body, and all his cuts, everything automatically gets cured within a second. When it gets cured within a second, immediately Sugriva says, "Oh, you're my lord, you're wonderful," and everything. And next day, he'll forget about it again. So Sugriva does not have, he keeps changing, just like a normal bhakta. God says, when we give something to the devotee, they will appreciate. When you don't give, then they will actually complain. And it'll keep going and going like that. That is how Sugriva was. First he said, "Oh, why didn't you protect me? Why didn't you, you left me to in the hands of Vali. He just smashed me like this and you didn't help at all. You are, I'm doubtful of your strength and everything." When he touches and heals him, then immediately he becomes a god again. So it keeps changing. So the grace is the same. Rama showed the same grace, but it was Hanuman who got the darshan and who stuck to it and who knew that that is God. So he had so much faith that he embarked and he jumped across the ocean with that faith, with that Ramanama. So, and because of his conviction, he also came up to the level of a guru. So that's something that I wanted to touch base on. That's pretty good, isn't it? Right? So we need to hold on to that faith. The reason why I'm telling you all these stories is not because we just listen to it as stories. These hidden messages are hidden for a reason. It is hidden for a reason because we just delve on it and we just take what is required for it from it, which is applicable in our day-to-day life. So there is another incident which is very applicable in our day-to-day life. It is about Dronagiri. So the Dronagiri is basically, Giri means mountains, right? Shringagiri is Shringeri now. So in the same way, Dronagiri. Dronagiri mountains, they call it as Aushadagiri as well. Aushadagiri means it's filled with medicines. So then what, you know the story, obviously, where Hanuman goes there and he picks up the entire Parvat and he comes, yeah? You know that, right? Or should I go a little bit into that? So the doctor is from the enemy camp. You know that, right? The doctor who advises go to Dronagiri. Yes, no. Depending on your answers, I need to actually tell the story. So that is the reason. Okay. So the doctor is called Sushena. Sushena is from Lanka. He is not from the Rama camp. So what happens is Meghanada actually fires this arrow and it comes and hits Lakshmana's chest. And when it comes and hits Lakshmana's chest, he falls down. Now, I want to actually you to remember Adhyatmik Ramayana. Adhyatmik Ramayana, Shiva is telling to Parvati, and there Lakshmana is, what does Lakshmana signify? He signifies the intellect. Intellect means Vijnanamaya Kosha. When I was telling you about Taittiriya Upanishad, I was telling you there are different koshas, and there is Vijnanamaya Kosha, that is intellect sheath. And right after that is the Anandamaya Kosha. So in us, we have five sheaths. We have our body sheath, then our vital breath sheath, then our mind sheath. Then inside that is our intellect sheath. And last thing is bliss sheath. So Lakshmana, bliss sheath is who? Rama, our God. We have our God who's pure bliss, who's inside us. Right next to that is the intellect. That intellect is Lakshmana. Okay, so that's the reason why Rama and Lakshmana are always close, correct? And whenever you see when somebody leaves the intellect, they are in trouble. Okay, so for example, Sita is there. When she actually sees Kama, she gets Kama, desire, that is in the form of the golden deer. Then what she does, she asks intellect to go, to leave from there. Then she gets into danger. So when the moment you ask your intellect to leave, then you get into danger. And that is the reason why she goes and stays in the Ashokavanam. Right? So very interesting point when we think about it. So when we empower our mind towards desires too much, towards karma too much, we end up in the forest with Rakshasas. Okay. When we actually use our mind to go towards the intellect, we are going to be near the divine. So a mind sheath is there, and the mind, if it goes inside towards intellect, it'll go towards bliss. If it doesn't, if it disregards the intellect and if it goes outside towards the senses, then automatically we will be in some other problem. So that's what Ramayana is about, right? It is trying to explain the Shruti. Shruti is the Taittiriya Upanishad. So here, what is happening? The intellect has fallen down. It's dead. So the entire Vanara Sena is, they can't do anything right now. They are all stamba. They are all stopped. Okay. They don't know what to do. They are all waiting. So Hanuman has to go. So the nearest doctor is basically only in Lanka. They are in Lanka. But Lanka is enemy camp. Okay. But Jambavan comes and says, an elderly gentleman, through wisdom, he comes and says, you go and get Sushena. Sushena is the doctor. So then people ask, Sugriva asks, but Sushena is from the enemy camp. Then he says, Jambavan says, a doctor like Sushena, he will go by the morals of the medicine. He will be a true doctor. Although he is from the enemy camp, he will come and guide us and treat us, Lakshmana, correctly. So you can be rest assured, even if it's the enemy camp. So what happens? Hanuman goes, and again he takes the Anima style. Like Anima is, I told you, Ashtasiddhis, becoming very small. He goes very small. He becomes very small, and Anima is the first Ashtasiddhi. He uses that and goes inside. Goes to they are already in Lanka, but he goes deep inside Lanka. And what does he do? He sees Sushena inside the house. What he does is, before he does all this lifting of that mountain that they are talking about, he lifts Sushena's house itself. And then, because he doesn't know whether Sushena will come or not, he lifts the Sushena's house and brings him directly to this side of the camp. Sushena comes out. When he comes out, he sees Rama. And as soon as he sees Rama, he has a feeling that he is divine. He immediately falls at Rama's feet, and Rama says, "Please look at my brother." Okay, some of the monkeys from behind, they give a Valmiki adds a shloka there where he says some of the monkeys think, oh, at the end of the day, he's a doctor from the enemy camp. What happens if he administers a poison into Lakshmana? Okay, but then the other part is Jambavan says, no, he will go by the ethics of medicine. And then Sushena actually says, oh, you go to Dronagiri or Aushadagiri mountains and get me the following. And he says the name basically of four medicines. Come on, get me the four medicines so that we can revive Lakshmana. So that basically means these four medicines are the ones in us, those are working as our intellect. So look at these medicines from the intellect perspective so that you can use this in your day-to-day life. So Hanuman goes, and there the medicines are hidden. He's not able to see which medicine he should get. So he brings the entire mountain and comes here. So in this, we normally talk about Mrita Sanjeevani. We call that, right? And that is a very important, or Sanjeeva Karini, we call it, or Mrita Sanjeevani. That is the nature of that medicine is to bring back, if you somebody who's dead, bring them back to life. That is what Sanjeeva Karini basically means. Then you have Vishalya Karini. So something that's broken, okay, if you want that to be attached, for example, bones, for example, anything, okay. Now, I'm going to say the thing, but later on I'll say how it is actually applicable to real life because it's not as simple as it sounds, okay. And then Samdana Karini. Okay. Oh, Samdana Karini, what it does is any cuts in the body or cuts, it all neatly patches everything up and it cures any kind of ranam, they say, like something that is a wound, which is with memory. There are some wounds which are with memory too. Okay, pain with memory. We call it memory with pain. Sandana Karani has resolves that memory with pain. I know there are medics here. I'm not a medic, so kindly excuse me if I'm wrong. And last is Suvarna Karini, one which brings back the golden complexion of yours. So he needs to bring all these four medicines. Okay, can't find these four medicines. He doesn't know which one is what. So what he does, he brings all the entire thing, then gives it to Sushena. Whilst going there, there are some things that happen. Do you know all those things? He gives, I mean, there is a crocodile which comes and catches Hanuman's legs. He actually releases it from the shrub. All those things. Do you know? No? Okay, we'll talk about it, but let me finish this medicine first. So, in these carinines, why am I talking about these carinines? Because these four replace the intellect in a way. So, because these are getting used to revive the intellect, what it basically means is the intellect has those powers in our particular body. So, for this, you need to understand the difference between intelligence and intellect. A person can be intelligent, but has he used his intellect? That is a point that we need to understand. So Medha Shakti means intelligence. So for me to actually get this job, get money, get this house, property, all these things, I've got to be intelligent, study, make sure I do my work, get my car, get a house, detached house or whatever it is, take care of the family and everything. Those are all intelligence. That is not an intellect. That is not Vijnanamaya Kosha. Okay, so all intelligent people don't use their intellect. Okay. Intellect basically is buddhi, is Vijnanamaya Kosha. It is related to buddhi. Buddhi basically means discrimination power. Discrimination power means what is real, what is unreal. To discriminate between what is real and unreal. So a lot of people might be very, very intelligent, but they wouldn't know the difference between what is real and what is unreal. Then they haven't used that particular faculty at all. Then they are not closer to their soul. So that's the reason why a lot of people might actually think when we talk about intellect, oh, I'm very intelligent, but why am I not closer to bliss? Super intelligent scientists might be there, super intelligent business people might be there, but are they all feeling the bliss all the time? Not really, because intelligence doesn't take you near that bliss. The bliss is here. Intellect sheath is here, and then the mind sheath is there. Intelligence is related to the mind sheath, Manonmaya Kosha, Meda Shakti, whereas intellect is closer to the bliss sheath because discrimination only takes us close to the this thing. What is real? What is unreal? Okay, that is a very important point that we need to ponder on. If we haven't pondered on, then we haven't used the intellect. So here, Lakshmana, let's see this particular Vishalya Karini, all these things. So first thing with intellect is Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha means it has the color of the gold. That is the reason why Suvarna Karini, when I said that, that is because reviving a person and giving him that gold color doesn't mean it's just the color of gold. Lakshmana has a golden color complexion. No. What it basically means is it is reviving the intellect within that particular person. Okay, Hiranyagarbha means that golden lingam. And that is the seat of wisdom in our in us. And that wisdom basically has to be revived. So that is what Suvarna Karini actually does. Okay, so what is the point of somebody being alive? I have made him alive, but if he doesn't have that particular wisdom that he actually had before this incident happened, then it's of no use because he is going backward. It's better to die and be born again. Okay, he needs to get that Suvarna back, that gold back, the golden hue back. So that is the reason why Suvarna Karni was last. It was administered in the end. First, what he does, Sushena does is he brings him back to life. Mrita Sanjeevani. Okay, so bringing him back to life basically is what it is. So why is it very important in this context? Because in this life, in this birth, he has got Lakshmana has got the opportunity of sparshan, darshan, sparshan, and sambhashan with the Lord, and he is actually taking part in Daiva Karyam, in God's Karya. So it is very important for him to bring this person back to life. Other persons, if they die, there is no problem. When we are engaged in God's work, it's important that we are alive. So Mrita Sanjeevani keeps us alive when we are engaged in God's work. What is the difference between God's work and donkey's work? So when we do basically washing the utensils, if we think and if we offer it to God, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that becomes God's work. We are always in God's work. And our Sanjeevani will continue to burn faster, the Sanjeeva Karini. If we actually do the work just for our selfish, we don't offer it to God. Krishna says that's donkey's work. So it is not that God's work means Rama and Ravana fighting against, Rama fighting against Ravana is the only God's work. It is actually quite related to our day-to-day life. Okay, and it's important for us to come back. And we keep offering this karmas, you won't have Akala Mrityu. So if we keep offering every karma, then we are constantly in God doing God's work. So sudden death won't happen to us because the Sanjeeva Karini will actually be empowered more and more. The more and more we actually do karma yoga. So it's important we look at it that way. How about Vishalya Karini? So Vishalya Karini, when something breaks, how does it actually make sure? So here in this context, bones have broken, you stitch in. But in our day-to-day life, do we need Vishalya Karini? Yes, when we have broken relationships, for example, you have a relationship where it is broken. What happens is the relationship is broken. You might not be even meeting that person or talking to that particular person, but there will be a lot of remains in our thoughts, animosity, lot of irritation, anger, and these are strong feelings. And Vishalya Karini takes out the Visha. Visha basically is that poison out from that. I remember from Newcastle, I'm sure people won't mind because I had asked Madhavi Auntie's permission for sharing this. We had a doctor called Dr. Gaurang Mujmudar, and was the first batch student from Manipal Medical School. So one day I'd gone to RVI because I got a call from his wife to say he's been admitted in RVI. When I went there, uncle was very close to us, close to me. So when I went there, he was in that ward and he was basically screaming at the top of his voice in Gujarati. Okay. And he had high Parkinson's and dementia put together. And when I went there, he didn't even notice that I was there. In fact, he was completely oblivious of any kind of thing that is happening around him. He hasn't eaten or anything like that. He was in the hospital, this thing, and he was screaming at the top of his voice in Gujarati. At that time, I sat next to him for like 15, 20 minutes. No chance, he didn't even recognize me. Then I started singing a bhajan that he really liked me singing. And the moment I started singing the bhajan, he stopped shouting first after the first two lines. And then he did a very interesting thing where he took my hand and started kissing it. Okay. Um, we don't need to go into that particular experience, but then he sang a bhajan that I used to like, and then he calmed down and he lied down and he started sleeping. So this happened when I came out. That nurse was telling she had been shouting for a long time. And later on, when I asked his wife told, "Oh, his brother, he came to UK a long time back, Gaurang uncle, and his brother, basically, his two brothers had cheated him and taken the ancestral property from him. Okay, and he couldn't forgive his brothers. Okay, so imagine the power of this vision that goes into our head. That a person with high level of Parkinson's, with high level of dementia, doesn't know where he is. His mind is not even working to find out where he is, where he is sleeping, who is there in front of him. Somebody has come to visit him. He doesn't even know. Nothing is working, but the anger of the broken bones, broken relationship is still there in his 80th year, and that is still making him feel bad, and that anger is still continuing, and he's shouting about that person. Imagine how much difficult energy that body is going through at that fag end of his life. Correct? Vishalya Karini, that is the reason it's very important. Hanuman can bring in that Vishalya Karini to calm and mend all those bones, to make us leave that animosity that we would have basically had from anything and everything. I just gave an example of a broken relationship. You can put it in your own context, but it's important to put it to your present day-to-day context, all these things. Otherwise, what happens is it becomes just another story where Hanuman went, carried mountain, dropped it, left it, and went. It's not like that. We need to actually see whether it's applicable. So, as a guru, what is he doing? He's actually showing karma yoga, making sure we don't actually have akala mrityu. Then that is mrita sanjeevani. And the second thing is vishalya karini. Then what were we talking about? Samdana karini. So in this one, cuts. I was telling you about Sugriva getting all those cuts. What are those cuts generally? We have Thiruvalluvar, a great speaker who says in Tamil, Teenar suttapun ullarum, arade navinar suttavadu. What it basically means is the harm that you create with fire, even that will heal. But the ones that you actually create with your tongue will not heal. So sometimes these cuts that we actually make or that we get, it is not essentially cuts in physical way where we have got a cut like Sugriva from Vali scratching him with his nails, and that is getting healed by Rama. No, the cut can be inside us. You know, it can be a word that is spoken by a loved one. It can be an action that is done to you by a loved one. It can be something else, basically, that we have experienced in our life where we have felt, oh, I'm a victim of these circumstances for no fault on my part. Okay. I'm here at the wrong time, in the wrong place. Because I'm here in the wrong time, in the wrong place, I've been subjected to this particular problem. I'm a victim of that circumstance. Okay. So that cut might be there. It can be repentance. It can be regret, can be any kind of cut. And what happens? Samdana Karini. It calms it down. It makes you forget. And that is what Hanuman brought. And after all these cuts and everything is done, what happens? He gives the golden complexion. What does that mean? The Hiranyagarbha gets activated in your body. The Hiranyagarbha is that seat of wisdom is active fully in our body. And when that happens, we start looking at God inward only. And that is what was the last one, Suvarna Karini. Suvarna generally means, Swarna came from the word Suvarna, which basically means gold. So let's tweak this plate a little and see from the other side. What does intellect do? Intellect is doing all these four jobs together. That is the reason why you needed all these four to revive the intellect. You might think, how can intellect help me basically heal my cuts? How can intellect basically make me golden? How can intellect basically mend my relationship that has already broken? If anybody is thinking like that, remember, intellect basically is the one which gives us the seat of wisdom to say some things can be changed, but there are things that can't be changed. You understand? So, and it gives us the maturity to understand, okay, these things can't be changed. We just need to focus on what we need to do in our life. I'll go a little outside this Hanuman Chalisa for a second, if you don't mind. Um, Arjuna's son is Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu's son is Parikshit. Parikshit's son is
Janam.
Janamejaya. So one day, Janamejaya, so things that we can't change. For that, I'm just telling you a quick story, very beautiful, because it includes our superstar. Who's our superstar? Vedavyasa, Krishna Dvaipayana, Badri Badrayana, right? So the story includes Vedavyasa. We need to actually say a story of Vedavyasa, right? So this happens where Janamejaya one day asks, you might have had this question as well. One day he asks a very beautiful thing where he says he's listening to his great grandfather's stories, right? Arjuna, his great grandfather, Draupadi, his great grandmother, and everything. So he says, to Vyasa, he says, you were all here there, and still such a big war happened. I'm sure you could have stopped it. To Vedavyasa, he says. He's a young man, Janamejaya. Vedavyasa says, no, we couldn't have stopped it. Then he looks and he says, Bhishma, Drona is a Acharya of all these people. All these people were there. And then the emperor Dhritarashtra himself was also there. If things would have wanted, then if they would have really wanted, they could have stopped at least some parts of the war, mainly the Vastraharam of Draupadi, my great grandmother. They could have at least stopped that particular bad thing from happening. Okay. See, Bhishma was there. See, greatest of the warriors. They could have at least stopped that part. Even if you say that the war couldn't have been stopped, it's fine. But the other could have been. Then Vyasa looks at him. He could have definitely stopped, isn't it? You're so powerful. See, imagine Veda Vyasa is so powerful. And then Vyasa says, no, we couldn't have stopped even the Vastraharanam aspect. Then Janmeja says, he can't accept it. Okay. So he says, okay, you all couldn't have stopped it, but there was Krishna there. See, Krishna could have definitely, because Krishna was in the same age. He's no more there right now, but at that time, Krishna was there. And he was in the same age. He was close to Pandavas. Then he could have definitely stopped at least Draupadi from getting this behave, from going through this particular experience. Correct? Then Vyasa looks at him and says, no. Then immediately he says, nobody could have stopped this. Nobody could have stopped destiny. I can't believe it. Why? Why can't it be stopped? Why can't it be stopped? And Vyasa tries to avoid the question, but this guy keeps asking again and again and again. And at that time, Vyasa says to Janamejaya, exactly 7 days from now, you will get the Brahmahati dosham. That is destiny. If you can change it, you change it. And he gets up and leaves. Brahmahati dosham is if you kill a Brahmin who is basically leading a Brahmin life, not the Brahmins that we see nowadays are not exactly Brahmins. So somebody who's doing the Havan, somebody basically who's leading a Brahmin life and everything, in 7 days you're going to kill. And if you get a Brahmahati dosham, it will stay in your karmas forever, for a long time. It's not easy to get absolved of those sins, of that sin. It is a very powerful sin. It's a very problematic sin. So now suddenly Janamejaya has been told he's going to get that sin in 7 days. So he's shocked, he's surprised, he's perplexed. He doesn't know what to do with this problem. And who says this? Vedavyasa himself says this. A superstar says this, right? So then Janamejaya goes and starts feeling really sad. He starts thinking, oh my God, what is happening? And then what he does is he calls all his ministers and all his people, gurus, and asks, what can we do? Because Vyasa has told like this. Then the Brahmins actually suggest, like all the people suggest, first, one group of people say you go into a room and you just lock yourself in the room. Then nothing can be done. You wouldn't be actually killing anybody. But the problem is, if he's going to go and lock, and if he's in this state, he might actually go mental in those 7 days' time because he's already so much troubled by these thoughts. He can't stay in one room like that. So then the other people say, come on, we'll have a big yagam because yagam means it's for universal prosperity. We will set up a big yajna and do the yajna. The important point is we'll bring all the Brahmin priests into that yajna. Emperor will stay on one side and he'll be surrounded by the bodyguards so that the emperor will not be going and killing any of the people because all the Brahmins will be there. The killing has to be done in front. So we are all there to stop the emperor from doing it. So Janamejaya can't go and kill anybody. So we will bring all the people. In the meanwhile, he will not also have this mental anxiety because we are doing the yajna, and because the yajna is getting done, he will get the peace of mind. So he's not going to do something mental, like, out of his this thing. Sorry, I'm taking the time, but it's a very interesting. Are you aware of this story? Can I complete? Is that okay? So, a beautiful yajna is planned. But the problem is, none of the priests basically want to be the chief priest of the yajna. The reason being, Vyasa has told this will happen. Okay, Brahmahati dosham is going to come. So they know it will happen. He's great. Vyasa is great. So that is on one side. The other side is if it happens, either they'll die, or the other option is the king might get upset. Something can happen. So they all back off from being the lead priests. So at that juncture, there is one priest who normally doesn't get called for all these main yajnas. He gets overlooked. So that person comes forward to say, I will do the yajna for you, Janamejaya. And Janamejaya is very happy. And this person wants to prove a point that he is worthy to do big yajnas. So he takes it as a challenge and with complete utmost sincerity starts the yajna. And he does Veda Parayan, all the Vedam chanting for 7 days. And he's not even eating anything. He's not even drinking a drop of water. He has not eaten a morsel of rice. And he's just constantly thinking only about prayer. And he goes on praying, 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 doing the yajna. Now, all the other people are startled by this guy's devotion and this guy's dedication. How is this guy doing so much like this? And he's just doing it, doing it, doing it, and he's finishing. Now, last 7 days is coming to an end. Last one muhurtam is remaining. How much is one muhurtam? I
48,
told you before.
48.
48 minutes, yes. So the last 48 minutes has come, the last muhurtam. Now he is doing the Purnahuti. And he has actually done the Purnahuti. He is about to put it, this thing, they offer everything in the fire. At that time, Janamejaya comes near and he actually puts everything, offers it into the fire. So the Purnahuti is done. The last part is you do the Mangalam final set of shlokas to finish. So successfully, Janamejaya has almost finished the 7 day period, right? Few more minutes left. In those last, after Purnahuti, this priest drops his guard down. And for 7 days, this man has been tirelessly doing prayers, right? So at that particular point of time, when he gets his guard down, thinking, oh, I have finished it, like that, what happens is suddenly he feels very tired, exhausted. Okay, that's when the exhaustion hits him. Sometimes you're on a job for a long time, you wouldn't realize how tired you are. And after that job gets over, that's when it hits you, right? In the same way, it hits him, and he slightly closes his eyes and goes to sleep. And there are only few minutes left. Okay, during that last minute, this happens very beautifully where Janamejaya looks at him and thinks, oh my God, he's sleeping. But Janamejaya is very kind. He doesn't think, hey, I've called this guy being a priest, he's sleeping. He's not thinking like that. He's thinking, this guy has done such fantastic work. Okay, the whole place is filled with peace and happiness. It's so wonderful. Okay, all the people around start telling, probably Veda Vyasa wanted this yajna to happen. That is the reason why he has created this problem thing by saying, "Oh, you will die. You will get the Brahmahati dosham in 7 days." He has done this as like a drama so that this beautiful yajna can happen. Because so many people are there, all of them are finding it so peaceful. Different devas and devatas have come out. Agni himself comes out. Okay, from this. Now we are talking about, Janamajaya's end of Dwapara Yuga, almost start of Kali Yuga. Krishna is gone and Kali Yuga has started. And a Havan where Agni is coming out of the fire is not possible. Like such sincerity doesn't work in this Yuga. Okay, that is where we are talking. This generation, right? In near Kali Yuga start. And there, all these devatas and all are coming. Everybody is feeling blessed. So everybody starts thinking this was probably a master plan of Vyasa. If he says like this, such lovely Havan will happen. Yajna will happen. That is the reason it has happened. But that last minute comes, this man thinks, Janamejaya thinks, this guy has done such a good job. Finally, he will get only a blame that this guy has been sleeping in the yajna. Other people might actually talk ill of him because he has slept. So what he does is, from the back, he touches him a little, just with the expectation that he will wake up. Okay, he touches him just a little, and the shocking thing that happens is this man gets suddenly scared. Okay, he'll wake up like that with a jitter. The shloka says he wakes up like that in a shock, and what he does is he falls into the fire in which he has actually offered the Purnahuti. The fire is glowing with all that thing, right? And he just jumps into the fire. And Janamejaya is stunned because he didn't push him or anything. Imagine somebody touching like that and somebody falling off like that. And he's stunned and he's crying like anything, Janamejaya, because he didn't expect. And this man was a true golden priest. with complete sincerity. He has done 7 days of Homam, of the yajna, and he dies in the end in front of his eyes by falling into the fire. And he gets the Brahmahati dosham. So later on, he asks, Vedavyasa comes again. And at that time, Janamejaya says, how come my single touch made him fall into the fire? And at that time, Vedavyasa says this. Actually, he slept only for few minutes, not even few minutes. Few kshanam only he slept. And during that time itself, he went into deep dream state, very good dream state. And in the dream, apparently, this priest was in the middle of the forest. And he was actually walking, and suddenly he sees a lion chasing him from the back. So this priest starts running, and the dream is so real for him, live for him, that when you touched Janamejaya, when you touched this priest's back, he thought it is the lion which has actually come and caught him almost, which has caught up to him. And that is the reason he jumped in the front to save himself from the lion, because he got both those worlds mixed, the dream world and the real world. Because sometimes it happens, right? We are in a very deep dream state. We get a dream and we wake up with that jolt and we are sweating because we don't know for a minute whether we are in the dream phase or in this phase. Like that, with that thought, and he jumps in. So these stories, what does it give you? It tells that this is intellect at the end of the day, because it says that sometimes we can't change destiny. If it is there, it is there. Draupadi had to go through that. She had to go through that. Okay, Krishna didn't stop it. No. Nobody else stopped it. No. And it happened. This intelligence, sorry, this kind of intellect which Buddhi gives, it actually gives you a lot of peace when you have these cuts that I was talking about. When you have those broken bones that we were talking about. Okay, if there is a relationship that's broken, okay, sometimes it can happen. Let's go over it. Let's transcend over it. Let's transcend over these cuts. Let's transcend over this. Because what is important is our inner bliss, not the outer cuts. That is what that intellect says. And that is the reason why, to revive that intellect, you need all these Karanis. Because if you have that intellect active and bright, Lakshmana in us is live and bright, we wouldn't be affected by all these cuts, all these bones, the deaths, and we will always retain the gold in us, the Hiranyagarbha in us, the seat of wisdom in us. Am I making sense? Are you all quiet because you're enjoying it, or you thinking about it?
It's deep.
Yeah, enjoying, and this is new also.
Yes.
But
So when we put it into our daily context, these things, then it becomes very, very, very important. It becomes relevant to us. Whatever Hanuman does to us, it becomes very, very relevant. If we don't put it into our daily context, then it becomes a big problem. So Kalanemi's story, that is when Hanuman actually goes, and when he's coming back, he has two encounters, one with Bharata himself. Bharata and Hanuman's fight, we need to talk about it, because Bharata is a great person. Hanuman is a great person. And that's a very important thing. And also Kalanemi, and how he releases the curse when he's coming back with the when he goes for that mission of bringing this Dronagiri, Aushadagiri mountains, that we'll probably catch pace on. Now that can I just finish by these last few shlokas from Hanuman Chalisa? It's quite straightforward. Most of the things you would know. Antakala Raghu, we were in Antakala Raghuveer Purjai, Jahan Janma Hari Bhakt Kahai. That is where we were. So what it basically means is, I'll just do that because I wanted to do at least one shloka of Hanuman Chalisa, but we didn't do. So before you leave, I'll just do this alone and we'll finish off. Antakala Purjai means when you finish what happened in Rama's last minutes of his life. He says that Rama says, I'm leaving. I'm going to Vaikuntha. Unlike Krishna, Rama and Krishna are completely opposites, right? So Rama says, I'm leaving. And whoever wants to come with me, you can come. And then Rama walks into the river, taking Jalasamadhi, and behind him his brothers take. And lot of people from Ayodhya opted to go with him. And whoever went with him into the river basically went to Vaikuntham. That's what we strongly believe in. They all went, and Rama took everyone to his place. Such a kind God, amazing God. So that is what his Antakala was. So here Tulasidas says this, where he links in with Ramas by saying, if we pray to you, when we finish, we will go and join Raghuvar's house. That is, we will be in uh, Vaikuntha itself. We will join there. That is what Tulasidas says. Then he says, Jahan Janmi Hari Bhakt Kahai. But when I'm born, I'll be I'll be born as the devotee of the Lord. So why does he say if somebody is going to Vaikuntham, why should he be born? Is the question that you might actually ask. So the question is what it basically means is what Tulasidas is saying is it's not contradictory. It basically means if you do prayers to Hanuman, you will reach that Vaikuntham where Rama is. And the next birth, if you want to take, it will be based on your this thing. And when will you take that birth? You will take a birth. How will you take it? You will take it as God's devotee. So if you see, I've been time and again telling, when Rama came, he came with his entourage. Like the entire group of people came. Vishwakarma came, Nala came, as Nala, Nila, everybody, Indra, everybody came. In the same way, when Avatar comes, you can come as his Bhakta. So otherwise, you can actually stay with this thing. A lot of people get confused in Hanuman Chalisa. Why one side he says liberation, like going to Vaikuntha. On the other side, next line itself, he says Jahan Janmi. It is because the birth that you will have is also something where you decide. It's they say in Guru Nanak's story, right? God Himself came and asked Guru Nanak, "Can you go down to this pious couple? The couple who are praying, they are so pious. Somebody really good should be going down as their children. I don't have anyone to send for that people. Please go." And then he says, "Whenever I want, I will come back." And he will put all the conditions to God, and then only he comes down. Like that, when you pray to Hanuman Chalisa, do Hanuman Chalisa and chant, you will go to Vaikuntham. And whenever you come, you will come only as the devotee of Hari. So that's one thing. Aur devata chittana darai, Hanumati sei sarva sukha karai. So that is, you don't have to pray to any other god if you are praying to Hanuman. You don't have to do this, that, and all. Hanuman himself is the one-stop shop. We will continue in the next class, um, if that's okay. And sorry, I went over the time again, but namaste for this one. And I'll stop the recording.